Alright, what's going on, boys and girls? So this is going to be a little bit of a different kind of video. So, as you can tell, phone. This is the infamous OnePlus One 7T. Wanted to kind of talk about this phone. This replaced my Moto G6, which I have somewhere back there. So this particular phone is 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. But it's a particular storage that makes it for really, 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 really fast storage. Another thing this phone has is a 90 hertz display, so it's very responsive. You're probably not going to be able to pick a lot of that up in the video just because 60 frames, all that crap. This is not the stock. The launcher I use is called AIO, or all-in-one launcher. Just a preference on there. So how fast is this thing? How fluid is this thing? Coming from a Moto G6, which is not a bad phone in any regards, I'm probably going to be doing a review on that particular phone. This particular phone is like dumb quick. Like, I can't even capture how quick this actually is. Build quality is actually really solid. The nice thing that OnePlus did do, even though like companies like Blue Phones have been doing it forever, is they do include just a cheap clear plastic case, but it's a nice thing to have. Now this is a 90 hertz OLED display, so your darks are very dark. Another thing this has, you'll notice that while this does have the typical teardrop for the front-facing camera, which is, I wanted really to go with the 7 model, which had the 7 Pro that had the pop-up camera, but T-Mobile didn't offer it. So this has the in-display fingerprint reader, and for the most part, it's pretty damn quick. The surface area is a little smaller than what you'd get, but I mean, it's no different than having a normal fingerprint reader on the front and the back, and whatever. I've had both. The Moto G6 has it in the front. Used to have the one of the LG phones that had it in the back. So it's all relative. V20, I had the fingerprint sensor in the back. So this is actually really fast for an in-display fingerprint sensor. So I'm just going to load up a few apps and show you kind of how. Now, the network connection where I'm recording isn't probably going to be the best, but as you can tell, like, you can't tell that this is really, really fluid. This is dependent on network speed, of course, but to me, the speed that you get here is the thing. Camera can record up to 4K. You got 3 lenses. You have an ultra wide. You have an ultra wide. You have a depth of field effect, and you have your typical shooter. This has, I believe, a 48 megapixel one, if I'm not mistaken, as a main shooter. Then you have a telescopic lens that you go up to, I think it's 2 on that, and then you can also do like a wide shot as well. Then you have the front-facing camera, which is like, I believe, 8 megapixels. It does 1080p. The 4K recording, from what I've seen on this that I've recorded, has actually been pretty good. Really big files, so I'm not a big fan of it, so I usually tend to stick to 1080p 60. But overall, this particular phone, battery life, really, really good. It doesn't use a lot when it's sitting. It can use a lot because it's a Snapdragon 855 Plus, if I remember correctly. So it can use a lot of power when you're actually using it, or you don't. You have the screen brightness all the way up, as you can tell right there. That's why I don't, so you can actually see the screen. One of the nice things is there's a universal dark mode in Oxygen OS from OnePlus. So I much do appreciate that because I hate my eyeballs bleeding, and the fact that it's an OLED display helps it tremendously with the blacks as far as the power consumption. But would I recommend getting this phone? If you are looking for a top tier Android phone that does not cost $1,000, I believe you can get this currently, last time I looked, for about $25 a month from T-Mobile. If you want a typical carrier provided phone, that's about the retail cost. From what I remember, is $600, $700, somewhere in that price range. That to me is a lot of money, but for what you're getting, I can't really say it's a bad deal. It's not like a certain Linux phone that costs $700 that it's for your privacy, but mid-range at best. So for me, this is definitely worth it. This is like a phone that you want to get if you are looking for something that is going to last you 2 years from spec to spec. That's really the biggest thing I've taken away from this. The last phone I got similar to this was probably the LG G3, and what I mean by that is the fact that it was a quad HD display. It was 1440p. It was 3 or 4 gigs RAM depending on your version. It was 32 or 64 gigs. It was a featured phone for at least a couple of years. I used that phone for a couple of years, and the camera was something new with the laser autofocus stuff. So yeah, like that's just my quick take. Fast, responsive, even with the layered UI that I have. I'm not a fan of Oxygen OS like launcher, but like it's Android. Go get another launcher. There's enough memory on this thing that you really don't have to worry about. Games, I don't do mobile gaming. It's not my thing. So apps, switching from apps to apps is fine. Apps load quick, apps install quick, which is the biggest plus. So for me, like the 90 hertz display, the fingerprint sensor, the really, really good cameras, the 4K, the 1080, 60, the OLED 90 hertz panel. Like, to me, this is everything I want wrapped up in a phone without the $1,000+ price tag. Maybe Apple and Samsung could take a little cue from OnePlus. Just saying. So that's kind of my take on it. That's my review. Do note it is USB-C, so you are going to be living the dongle life for headphones and stuff, or Bluetooth. So if that is a thing, keep note of that. So you guys know what to do. That's just my quick take, my quick review of the OnePlus 7T.